in as mayor in January of 2022. She also serves as an executive board member of the Pennsylvania Municipal League, as a Dauphin County Democratic Committeewoman, and as a board member for the Downtown Improvement District. Now please help me in welcoming Mayor of the City of Harrisburg, Wanda R.D. Williams.
Thank you, Nora, and thank you for not saying anything about my Cowboys this year, because your Steelers are just as bad. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. You want to take this? Good afternoon, residents of Harrisburg, community leaders, neighbors, and friends. It's certainly an honor to stand before you to present the 2025 State of the City Address. Each year, this occasion gives us the opportunity to reflect on our progress, acknowledge our challenges, and shape a shared vision for Harrisburg's future. As you know, I have lived in this city my entire life. I raised my children here, and I have mourned here. I walk the same streets you walk and feel the same hope and certainly frustration. But this afternoon, I do not speak to you as a distant politician behind a podium. I speak to you as your neighbor, your advocate, and your mayor. When I look at Harrisburg, I see a city with grit and determination. I see neighborhoods full of children with bright futures, our seniors with wisdom to share, and families who, no matter their circumstances, continue to press forward. Our challenges are real, but so are our victories. I want to take you through our wins, our struggles, and our plans for tomorrow. So far this year, I was honored to be invited to attend well over 100 nonprofit events, groundbreaking ceremonies, ribbon cuttings, cultural festivals, and community outings. At each of these gatherings, I supported and celebrated our small businesses, our neighborhoods, and certainly our organizations. These events were not just for appearance, they serve as opportunities to strengthen our city's impact, listen to our people, and stand proudly with those who make Harrisburg thrive. Let me begin with a major administration priority: public safety. Public safety is not just a little item or a line item in our budget. It is personal. I've had my hand held, and I've held the hands of mothers and grandmothers waiting for answers. Also, I have stood on streets where fear once lived. We talk about public safety, we're talking about the police department. This past year, the Harrisburg Bureau of Police demonstrated resilience, innovation, and resolve. There were 14 total homicides since October of last year, and 12 of those have been solved. This is an impressive 86% clearance rate. The 2024 national homicide average clearance rate was 61%. Our police department shares the sorrows of grieving families and works towards ensuring justice and closure for those families. Harrisburg law enforcement has been productive in solving the majority of murders. Our force remains focused on the cases that have not been solved. It is these cases and the victims and families behind them that keep our men and women in blue up at night. They work tirelessly for victims' families, never considering the statistical numbers that gauge or compare them to other agencies. Harrisburg City passed a rigorous joint FBI and Pennsylvania State Police audit for criminal justice information handling. We deployed upgraded V700 body-worn cameras, advanced our evidence library system, and expanded the TRACS e-citation system. Now, what does that mean for the residents of Harrisburg? It means more accountability, stronger casework, and a safer city. Technology has been a critical factor. 57 license plate readers now expand our neighborhood coverage. 10 new bicycles have enhanced the reach of our mounted bike unit, and our motorcycle officers are in training. These improvements may not seem flashy, but they make us visible where cars cannot go and responsive where safety demands speed. Even the city's headquarters reflect our commitment to accessibility and respect. The newly remodeled police lobby now has an accessible ramp and improved public space. This matters because the front door to justice must be open to everyone and all night. Yes, vacancies have stretched our force, but rather than shrink from difficulty, we have expanded our recruitment, increased training cycles, and strengthened our pipelines. Now hear me when I say, our priority is not just filling uniforms, but recruiting men and women who reflect the values of our community. When downtown businesses asked for help with unruly, unsupervised teens, we acted, and we acted swiftly. We reviewed and enforced a stronger curfew ordinance. We held parents accountable, and the impact has been undeniable. Safer streets and grateful merchants. An amendment now before council would make the curfew earlier, permanent, and year-round. Our goal is not to punish youth, but to protect them and to ensure downtown and all areas of our city remain a safer place to work, shop, and enjoy. Looking ahead, our priorities are straightforward. We will stabilize our workforce through a competitive union contract, which is coming along nicely. We will continue to recruit and train so that staffing gaps close and investigative capacity grows. And we will keep pushing forward with new technology and regional partnerships. Under public safety comes community service aid. Community engagement is more than a slogan. It is a promise. In our community service division, that promise is being lived out daily. This year, CSAs installed 133 doorbell cameras and began the installation of 400 porch lights at the request of and free to our residents. These are not small gestures. They are safety measures that reduce crime, increase comfort, and provide space and peace of mind for families who deserve nothing less. Our community service aides have stepped into classrooms as mentors talking directly with 7th and 8th graders about tough subjects. They discussed heavy topics such as conflict resolution, peer pressure, suicidal, self-esteem, and bullying. They have joined block parties and held cookouts, not just to engage with the public, but to participate. Our CSAs, in coordination with the police, held 8 cookouts at different parks and different times throughout the city so that every resident had a chance to attend. Because the badge is just not authority, it is responsibility. Challenges persist, of course. Trust takes time. But the answer is not to retreat. It is consistency. Officers have stood side by side with community partners, schools, and nonprofits. That is how skepticism becomes trust, and trust becomes safety. Our priorities are clear. Grow these programs, expand mentoring in schools, and grow the porch light and doorbell program. In short, we will keep the lights of safety on for the city of Harrisburg. Under public safety goes group violence intervention. GVI is not just another program. It is a partnership, a commitment, a promise to our residents. It brings law enforcement, service providers, community leaders, and families together to confront violence as a shared problem that requires shared solutions. Justice and safety cannot occur in a vacuum. Daily, GVI traverses racial, economic, and religious barriers. The Hispanic population represents 25.8% of our city. Our Community Service Division crossed the language barrier by adding a Spanish-speaking outreach coordinator to our GVI team. Twice weekly, our GVI team sends out custom notifications to reach individuals most at risk. They do not communicate with threats. They come with facts and choices. A choice to step forward towards support and opportunity, and to clear understanding that continued violence carries consequences. GVI supports the community's credible messengers, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, nonprofit leaders, and clergy from our very own neighborhoods. These mentors and messengers are people who know the streets, who know what incarceration is, trauma, and most of all, loss. They speak from lived experience, sending the message, I've walked where you're walking, and I know you can change your path. GVI goes beyond the streets. They are inside Harrisburg City Schools twice weekly, reaching out to the youth with prevention, mentorship, and hope for a different future. GVI also visits Dauphin County Prison biweekly. The team meets incarcerated men and women where they are, not where society thinks they should be. They offer a chance and change instead of recidivism. Finally, GVI is building wraparound support services, jobs, housing, treatment, trauma-informed care, mentorship, and language interpretation services so that families can receive the help they need. GVI confronts violence, tackling conditions that give rise to it. Now, let me turn to my fire department, where courage continues to meet preparation. In 2025, 7 new recruits joined the ranks, increasing our team to 96 firefighters. Their presence is already making a difference in the latest surge in arson events at Governor Square and the former homeless encampment. When emergency struck, our average response time was 4 minutes and 26 seconds for 90% of the incidents. That is faster than the national standard, and those minutes saved lives and homes. Our firefighters logged more than 14,000 hours of training. They also continue free smoke and carbon monoxide alarm installations across the city, reducing risk for families before alarms ever sounded. Just last week, our fire chief broadened the city's resolve towards public safety even further by stating, and I quote, "We do not care where you live. If you need a smoke detector or carbon monoxide alarm installed, call our office and we will connect you with the right people to install them for free." The Bureau also collaborated to build the South Central Urban Search and Rescue Team. By joining forces regionally, we lowered costs while strengthening readiness. But even firefighters need a rest. We are modernizing bunk rooms at Stations 1 and 2 to improve morale and readiness. We are also purchasing 2 new apparatus to ensure reliable coverage, and we are launching an officer development program to prepare the next generation of leaders. It is important to note Harrisburg is safer today because of the men and women of our fire bureau. In the past 2 months, our firefighters have battled a string of arsons, fires in places already fraught with neglect, like Governor Square and the abandoned encampment near I-83. A suspect in custody for the encampment fires at Governor Square has finally been placed into receivership at the city's request. A Dauphin County judge appointed a receiver for Governor Square, and City Council approved our agreement to begin stabilizing the property. Our goal is a safe, habitable community and an eventual sale to a qualified buyer and owner. These challenges underscore why we must hold negligent property owners accountable and why safety remains a priority. Now, it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge the act of terrorism that struck the governor's residence in the early hours of April the 13th. At approximately 2:00 a.m., when the unimaginable unfolded, the Harrisburg Fire Department responded within minutes, swiftly, courageously, and without hesitation. Their timeliness, composure, and skill contained what could have been a far greater tragedy. In the days that followed, Governor Josh Shapiro and the First Family came to Station 1, not for cameras, not for headlines, but to personally thank the brave men and women who stood between danger and safety that night. Excuse me. It was a deeply powerful moment and a poignant memory and reminder that the professionalism of the Harrisburg Fire Department is not only recognized, but profoundly respected at the highest levels of our Commonwealth. Our first responders remind us every day that service is not about applause. It is about heart. Of our city. Keeping people safe also means keeping their neighborhoods clean and strong, and that is exactly what our Public Works Department does better than any other surrounding municipality. As a matter of fact, the city does this so well, several surrounding communities contract for our services. We move now to Public Works. Our Public Works team has been busy. In 2024 alone, more than 28,760 tons of garbage, and 2,724 tons of recycling were collected. 13 street projects were completed. 31 unsafe properties were demolished by codes in partnership with Public Works. And right at this moment, they are demolishing a property at 2534 Lexington Street. That is progress you can see and most certainly touch. Illegal dumping has been a stubborn challenge, but through cameras, hotspot Saturdays, and collaboration with the county, we are fighting back. Make no mistake, the city of Harrisburg will not be treated as a dumping ground. Now, I often drive through neighborhoods at dawn or on my way home late in the evening, and I see our crews out there paving, sweeping, hauling, working quietly while most of us are still asleep or relaxing after dinner. That kind of commitment is what keeps Harrisburg moving, and quite honestly, it keeps me grounded in gratitude for the staff I have in place to make this city run. The city can finally say we own the Brenner Dodge building at 1820 Paxton Street, where our Public Works Department is housed. Thank goodness. And looking ahead, we plan to expand recycling efforts, pursue additional grants, and complete even more paving and demolition projects. Cleaner streets mean safer neighborhoods, and safer neighborhoods mean stronger communities. Recently, I also initiated a trash bill forgiveness program by allocating $2 million in ARPA funding. We targeted residents who made consistent efforts to pay down their balances since COVID. To date, nearly $1 million in refuse bills have been forgiven, with $1 million still available. This program gives struggling families a relief and a fresh start. We move on to codes. Beyond the coordination of demolition with Public Works, the Bureau of Codes has strengthened oversight by bringing all residential electrical inspections in-house, improving quality, accelerating turnaround, and ensuring that repairs and installations meet the standards of our families who deserve so much more. Codes has also modernized how officers serve in the field. Each officer now uses an iPad to access ownership records, permit histories, and zoning maps on site, reducing repeat trips and speeding enforcement. Even the hardware inside our vehicles was installed cost-effectively by our own partners, saving outsourcing dollars and keeping resources focused on our residents. A story we are particularly proud of took place at 237 Kelker Street, a condemned 3-story historic home that was not simply saved, but it was restored to life as a family residence. The transformation was compelling enough to be featured on Magnolia Network's In with the Old. That is what smart enforcement, craftsmanship, and partnership can do in the city of Harrisburg. Turn an address once written off into a home filled with light. When a condemned building becomes a home again, it reminds us what resilience looks like in brick and mortar. We are realistic about the day-to-day challenges: illegally parked vehicles on vacant parcels, the complexities that rise around homelessness, and relentless high grass and weeds. We confront these issues through consistent enforcement of our codes and ordinances while working closely with IT to improve our Munis and Tyler database so that cases can move faster and cleaner from intake to a resolution. Looking ahead, we will request 2 additional code officers positions to accelerate blight removal and neighborhood responsiveness, set a target of 25 demolitions for the year 2026 and complete the scanning of all paper files to a searchable digital archive. These are practical steps that will deliver visible results for residents and businesses, street by street. We now turn to traffic and engineering. Traffic safety is life safety. We completed the 2nd Street multimodal conversion and redesigned the 6th to 7th Street corridor. These projects may sound like concrete and asphalt, but they are really about people, making our streets walkable, bikeable, and safe for everyone. Let me emphasize something you already know about me. I am all about our kids and their safety. I will do anything, absolutely anything, for a positive outcome for the youth in the city of Harrisburg. Every playground we open, every program we expand, every opportunity we create for young people is an investment in Harrisburg's future, but we have to keep them safe so that they can enjoy a bright future. The city of Harrisburg secured $1 million for Wanda Street multimodal upgrades and have begun public design engagement for her street safety improvements. These dollars will save lives by reducing serious crashes and calming reckless driving. The updated Vision Zero action plan documents are our path to eliminating facilities by 2030, and it can be found on the front page of our website. And we are not stopping there. Projects like the Division Street multimodal, Paxton Creek dechannelization, and State Street road diet are already in the works. Vision Zero is more than a slogan, it is our goal. We now move on to Parks and Recreation. Our Parks and Recreation team continues to bring life to our neighborhoods. This year, renovations are taking place at 7th and Radnor Streets and Wilson Parks, and city staff removed nearly 50 tons of trash from all our parks combined. They save more than 800 youth and serve and employ more than 100 young people over the summer. The city of Harrisburg proudly launched 2 youth basketball leagues that welcomed more than 100 children. The teams were so successful that soccer and golf will join the lineup next year. The city also sponsored the Cougar Midget Football League, because when we give children a ball, a field, and some encouragement, we are taking something away too. We are taking away the lure of gangs, the sting of violence, and the lie that they have no future here in the city of Harrisburg. Looking forward, we will reopen the City Island Arcade, which includes over 25 games children can play for free, expand rental programs, and keep youth employment at the heart of our work. Now, what does all this add up to? It means spaces that are safe for our children, jobs for our teens, and cleaner, greener parks for everyone. When I visit our parks and see children laughing where silence once lingered, I'm reminded that progress is measured not only in numbers, but in joy. When the Harrisburg Housing Authority could no longer fund the Environmental Teen Corps, a program I helped and proudly established years ago as the City Council President, I refused to let it disappear. I secured $200,000 so the program could continue this past summer. It provides meaningful employment. It teaches responsibility and builds pride in our neighborhoods for our youth. I move on to facilities and special events. On the facilities front, we are investing in safety, accessibility, and modernization. Renovations are nearly complete at the F&B station remodel. Emergency circuits have been replaced at the Martin Luther King Building and at the Public Safety Building. We repaired the mansion roof and modernized elevators. And yes, we broke ground on the Broad Street Market. A project that speaks to both history and future. Just last week, City Council approved an additional $4 million for additional $14 million for Broad Street Market reconstruction, keeping the rebuild on track. We have saved costs. Looking ahead, priorities include completing the public safety building remodel, finishing stadium upgrades, and continuing improvements across city facilities. This year's Capona celebration ended in heartbreak when a driver disregarded clear safety measures and caused tragedy in the final hour of the event. We are thrilled that little Faiz Sharif is now home. However, his road to recovery will certainly be a long one. May his fighting spirit and courage inspire all of us. And photographer Morgan Smoker, a young lady already living with a neurological condition before the accident, has shown nothing but grace and resilience in the weeks since the tragedy. 2 city employees were also greatly impacted by this accident, and we are ensuring they receive the care necessary to begin to put this travesty behind them. Our police and fire leadership have kept in contact with these families. Please know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. Harrisburg enacts every safety measure within our power to protect the public, and we will continue to ensure our festivals remain remains a highlight of Harrisburg life. We delivered 6 very large major events downtown. Our cultural calendar was full of life and music. Each weekend in July at Reservoir Park, to include a youth talent showcase, and Afro Soul, Lakeside Gospel Night, and more. The city added City Island and welcomed more than 30,000 people to Arts Fest alone. And speaking of Art Fest, Harrisburg was ranked number 53 Artists Magazine's 200 best shows in the nation. These events boost our economy, support small businesses, foster city pride, and bring vitality. This year, we entered into a partnership with the Civic Club of Harrisburg and Young People of Color, Greater Harrisburg, to host a week-long citywide celebration of Juneteenth, which was embraced across our neighborhoods. We also held National Night Out, which was touted as the best in recent memory and enjoyed strong attendance there. These events reflect our city's strength and certainly our unity, reminding us that celebration is part of resilience. Now, an event that is deeply personal to me, and one that, after 3 years, I now consider a cherished annual tradition, is our partnership with Rapid Transit. One of the major objectives of my administration is to ensure our senior citizens are included in the energy of the community. This past December, 75 seniors from city housing complexes were transported to the annual Christmas show at the Farm Show. I accompanied them as we shopped, we ate, and enjoyed time together. It is one of my favorite traditions and reflects our commitment to dignity and inclusion for our aging population. I am pleased to announce that our senior field trip will happen again in a few months, thanks to the generous sponsorship of Visit Hershey Harrisburg. Rising costs to produce such meaningful events are real, but we have offset them through sponsorships and vendor partnerships. And we will continue to do so because nothing unites this city quite like coming together to celebrate. And we have proven each year that we know how to do just that. We now move on to economic development and building and housing. Just a minute. He was waiting to us. He was wondering when I was going to take a water, huh? Economic development is visible across Harrisburg. I am proud to say that I continue to grow our city with a major campaign promise of initiating the biggest redevelopment efforts for Harrisburg in decades. The Penmark redevelopment project occurring at the old Polyclinic campus, I keep saying hospital because it's been vacant for 25 years. Polyclinic campus is valued at more than $45 million. It will create between 250 to 300 market rate housing units and will contain an upscale restaurant, a cafe, a fitness center, and a multicultural grocery store. Affordable housing remains a huge initiative of my administration. Unfortunately, the rates are not determined by the city. They are determined by the federal government, who sets rates by household income levels below the current median. Projects like Cornerstone, located at 14th, 15th, and Regina Streets, Sycamore Homes at 1400 Sycamore Street, J&B Gardens at 6th and Emerald Streets, and Bethel Miracle Village are completed, providing dozens of new low-income and affordable units for families, seniors, and individuals. New developments such as Midtown Marketplace redevelopment, the Woodward Lofts, and more will continue this trajectory. Just last Wednesday, I announced 13 affordable housing awards totaling $7.75 million from our ARPA-backed Affordable Housing Development Fund to accelerate fully affordable projects across this city. These funds empower established city developers to continue building and revitalizing housing throughout the city. 26 applications were submitted, and 13 developers with a proven record of building affordable housing in the city of Harrisburg were awarded funding to continue my mission. We also strengthened our partnership with Habitat for Humanity, including the Jefferson Street project that will add several newly constructed single-family homes. These partnerships create not just housing, but opportunity, jobs, revitalization, and pride. I would like to share a story that underscores the importance of the work we are doing through our successful economic development and building and housing programs. When we assign contractors to a housing rehabilitation job, we assumed the project was limited to replacing the siding. But when the old siding was removed, the brick beneath crumbled to dust. Further inspection revealed that nothing was holding up the home. Our Harrisburg Housing Rehabilitation Program stepped in, installing reinforcements from the basement to the top floor, adding new electric, siding, a Bilco door, and new steps. This work prevented tragedy for a family who might have faced unthinkable harm. That is the true impact of our rehabilitation program. It saves homes, and sometimes it saves lives. Stories like this remind me why I ran for office in the first place, to make sure every family in Harrisburg has not only a roof over their heads, but a foundation they can trust. For too long, the homeless encampment near Interstate 83, known as Tent City, has been an unsafe and unsustainable living condition. With PennDOT's expansion, we knew change had to come. Working with the governor's office, Dauphin County, nonprofits, and faith partners, we supported the creation of a miracle community, offering stability, dignity, and resources. Some have resisted that move, but our responsibility is to protect both public safety and human life. Because we care, the city has invested more than $185,000 of taxpayer dollars towards helping the homeless, despite receiving no direct homeless funding. But Harrisburg, we cannot do this work alone, and we will continue pressing for county, state, and federal support to help our unhoused population. Our challenges are tied to private investment. We are in the process of updating the local Economic Revitalization Tax Assistance Program, known as LRTA, to enhance partnerships and attract new developers and businesses and homeowners. We are still partnering with organizations such as the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, the Capital Region Economic Development Corporation, Pennsylvania State University, and Rapid Transit. These changes will be sent to me and City Council before the end of this year. Priorities for 2026 including advancing Midtown Marketplace, Woodward Lost, and Penmark. We will finalize zoning updates and scale partnerships with groups such as Brethren Housing and Thrive Housing Service to broaden affordable housing access. Projects like Woodward Lost, a 48-unit apartment building slated to begin in 2026, thank you, Mr. Fernandez, demonstrate how modern, code-compliant housing grows from vigilant enforcement and clear standards. Of course, progress requires vision and planning behind the scenes. The Planning Bureau has modernized web pages, application forms, and records, and has hired a historic preservation specialist. This work includes and supports adaptive repurposing projects like the former Polyclinic Hospital. It ensures zoning clarity and streamlined reviews. Vacancies have been addressed through targeted recruitment and reallocation. A comprehensive housing unit inventory has been finalized and integrated with codes, sharpening our data for permitting inspections and compliance. Looking forward, we will continue digitalization of records, hire a deputy planning director, and launch a full review of the zoning code and comprehensive plan. Moving forward for finance and the 5-year plan. Over the past 5 years, Harrisburg has retired nearly $638 million in legacy debt. Built reserves and directed more than $47 million in ARPA funding into viable and visible community investments. We implemented the Munis ERP system, migrated payroll off the mainframe, and established a track record of timely audits. These are not glamorous achievements, but they are the backbone of credibility. Fiscal strength is what enables investments in neighborhoods, infrastructure, and people. This year, we paid off the $3.7 million Municipal Bond Assurance Corporation, which is AMBAC settlement, ahead of schedule, secured new grants, and managed more than 100 Dauphin County gaming grant requests. These achievements strengthen city services, lighten the burden on taxpayers, and keep resources where they belong in our community. Looking ahead, our priorities are clear. Complete the remaining audits, finalize the 2026 budget, and continue modernization. Harrisburg is no longer defined by instability, but steadfast strength. Moving on to license and taxation. The Tax Enforcement Office has issued more than 1,600 approved businesses licensed in the past 3 years. We launched a laser-fitch approval workflow that speeds the license. In 2024, internal tax audits collected nearly $1 million, which was more than $200,000 above the prior year, and civil collections recovered more than $500,000. Uniform enforcement has reduced friction for compliant businesses while holding others accountable. As we look to a new year, our priorities include adding staff to strengthen collection, extending automation, and publishing a quarterly licensing dashboard. Moving on to information technology. Technology is the nervous system of city government. This year, we launched a new city website, upgraded our data systems, and made operations more efficient. We cut unnecessary costs and balanced limited staff with smart partnerships. Looking ahead, we will continue strengthening cybersecurity and complete the Munis migration. Moving on to Human Resources Department. Our Human Resources team has coordinated wellness and recognition programs. This year, they led a successful United Way campaign and streamlined recruitment processes. For our United Way of the Capital Region campaign, city employees donated approximately $7,000 in pledges, demonstrating the generous spirit of our employees. Taking it one step further, a team of employees led by the Bureau of Human Resources created an internal employee prize raffle to encourage pledge participation. Employees received raffle tickets based on their pledge amount. It was a fun and spirited internal competition that garnered some pretty impressive prizes donated from various departments. You guys should have seen them prizes. Even with 10 retirements and as many as 38 vacancies at different times during the year, our team never missed a beat. Staff stepped up with remarkable perseverance while our recruitment efforts went to work. As a result, we welcomed 54 new full-time employees and 82 seasonal team members, bringing fresh talent, renewed energy, and stronger capacity to serve the people of Harrisburg. Our priorities moving forward include expanded training, diversified recruitment pipelines, and strengthening wellness programs. Service of city government rests on the people who serve within the Martin Luther King building. Moving on to equity, compliance, and workforce development. Equity has been more than a word. It has been We launched the Harrisburg Opportunity for Professional Experience, which is called HOPE, and the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, which is DBE, Mentoring Information Resource Network, opening doors for the students in public service. We bridge gaps for disadvantaged youth and disadvantaged business enterprises by working with banks, construction companies, and nonprofits. It would be remiss of me not to recognize a towering figure in Harrisburg's history whose influence still guides our steps today. This year marks the 200th bicentennial of William Howard Day, abolitionist, educator, minister, and one of Harrisburg's most revered sons. Day made his home and his mark right here in the capital city, where he championed education, equality, and civic participation for African Americans, long before the law protected those rights. He served as Harrisburg's first African American school board president and one of the first Black elected officials in Pennsylvania, the very foundation of our public school system. His courage, intellect, and moral conviction helped build the conscience of our city. As we celebrate his bicentennial, we honor not only his legacy, but also the generations of Harrisburg residents' vision of faith, freedom, and fairness for all. As we reflect on those who have carried that same torch of leadership and love for Harrisburg, I must pause to remember my friend and community leader, Carl Singleton. Carl was deeply loved by many, but today we honor his memory and his legacy of service to Moving on to communications. The Bureau of Communications has worked relentlessly to keep residents informed, engaged, and connected. We launched a brand new city website that is maintained fully in-house. This eliminated outside contractor costs and is saving the city and its residents approximately $45,000 annually. It has also given us faster, more accurate control of updates. What many may not realize is the magnitude of this in-house website achievement. The employees who began the website redesign were no longer here to complete it, and yet our staff worked nights and weekends to ensure that it launched on time. These same employees elected to save the city thousands of dollars each year by completely maintaining, editing, and now this is a very large undertaking. In addition, the Bureau of Communication has translated many of our government documents into Spanish, and our staff frequently accompany code officers off-site to ensure instructions, policy, and citations are clearly understood by our Spanish-speaking residents. We also expanded Spanish language content and captioning to make information accessible to more residents. Our social media audiences grew by more than 10,000 followers since the first of this year, an increase of 367% from where we began last December. We produced 78 WHBG Channel 20 videos covering meetings, press conferences, events, ribbon cuttings, live streams, and special features. This drew more than 50,000 views. Our social media campaigns made the city of Harrisburg a consistent presence in the daily lives of the residents and visitors alike. The expansion of our platforms has created new opportunities for dialogue, allowing us to hear directly from the community. Through their comments and their messages and shared stories, we gain valuable insight into concerns that need attention, ideas that spark progress, and milestones that deserve a celebration. We even hosted 23 weddings at City Hall so far this year, proving that communications is not always about government policies and procedures. It is also about inviting the community in to experience lasting memories, such as the joy of marriage. And last but certainly not least, the City of Harrisburg's Communications and WHBG Channel 20 production team earned regional acclaim, receiving an Emmy Award for editing and videography on the original documentary Gary Gilliam, Building a Bridge in Harrisburg. The film chronicles an ambitious vision to restore a piece of our city through This film chronicles an ambitious vision to restore a piece of our city and community investment. While that vision was never fully realized, the production itself as a testament to the power of storytelling, to illuminate both the promise and the challenges of rebuilding from within. This recognition celebrates the artistry, honesty, and technical excellence that continue to define our city's communications team. Priorities for 2026 include completing WHBG studio renovations with Comcast support, growing our YouTube and social media audiences by 25%, and expanding bilingual storytelling. Closing vision. As we reflect this afternoon, we see a Harrisburg. We see a Harrisburg that's stronger, safer, and more determined. The city's police and fire departments are modernizing and saving lives, while public works and traffic teams are making neighborhoods cleaner and safer. Parks and recreation staff are giving our children places to play, senior places to gather. Economic development is reshaping our skyline in our neighborhoods, as fiscal responsibility has restored credibility. Equity has opened doors, and our communications team has brought us all closer together, creating platforms where our citizens' voices are heard. But our work is not finished. Harrisburg is not a city that settles. Harrisburg is a city that strives, and we are striving for more. I believe in this city because I have confidence in its people. I value our seniors who never stop giving. I love our young people who never stop dreaming. I trust in our families who never stop fighting for better lives. I am one of you, and I will not settle for mediocre. As a city, we will continue to face challenges. Of that, I am certainly certain. Yet each test we endure reminds us what seeks to divide us can also make us stronger. Harrisburg has never stood apart in times of trial, never. We have stood together, and together we will face whatever lies ahead with mutual respect, shared purpose, and the love for the city that belongs to us all. Harrisburg is not defined by its struggles. Harrisburg is defined by its spirit, and that spirit is alive today in this room and in every corner of the city of Harrisburg. It's unshakable, it's unstoppable, and undeniably ours. I'm passionate about the city of Harrisburg's future. I am excited for revitalization for every corner of our city, for every district of our city. We have 7 districts, not only the areas most often spotlighted by legislature or media. I will continue to invest to attain a higher quality of life for everyone. Every obstacle we face, every late night meeting, every tough decision, it is all worth it when I see a neighbor smile with pride for this city we love and share. Every one of us here has a stake in Harrisburg's story. Together, we are writing its next chapter, and God has placed me here in this position for a reason. Each day he makes my mission clear, and each day I suit up and show up as his servant, and most importantly, as your mayor. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the city of Harrisburg. I will now turn it back over to the host of our event, Mr. Ryan Unger, President and CEO of the Harrisburg Regional Chamber of Commerce.